Live from the Rant Radio Network, you're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis,
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant. Happy New Year to all of you real estate ranters out there here in Happy Radio Land, here on the Rant Radio Network, the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my title rep and co-host today, Miss Lisa Lombardi. How are you?
I'm doing great. Happy New Year. I missed you. It's been a long time since I've seen you.
It feels like it's been a few months.
It has
something
been.
Like that. Well, it has been a few months.
It was a crazy December for me, and it was a lot of fun, but I'm glad to have the new year.
We're finally here.
We're finally here.
First show of the year, and special guest in today, and may I say a well-esteemed guest, Mr. Rick Ronquillo. If I said that right, Mr. Rick, how are you, sir?
Correcto.
All right. Do we have Mr. Rick there? Talking to the mic again, the Rick. Give me one
sure.
last. Okay. We have doing? Mr. Rick there, Mr. Pantalones. Thank you, sir. Body language programmer. Very interesting topic. We had a long conversation the other day, and Rick shared a lot of good information. So we do have a good show in store. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. And you can either rant about your problems if you have a question in real estate, or you have a problem realtor, or maybe a
That's a fact. That's a fact.
Or maybe a problem title rep. In-house today, we also have Mr. Richard Argumosa with All-in-One Small Claims. Richard helps us do our small claims filings and collections, if you will. How are you doing, Mr. Richard?
I haven't seen one female since we got here. This place is a sausage fest.
That's right, and I'm the sausage.
Yeah, well, exactly.
I'm doing well, Alex. Nice to be here. Thanks
all right. Happy New Year, sir. How are you?
Happy New Year to
you. Yes. Thanks for joining us. Just wanted to mention that Real Estate Rant and AGR and Associates are proud sponsors of Michael Aguilar and Associates and Stroke Awareness. You can reach Michael Aguilar at www.strokeawareness101.com, or you can email him at michaelpaguilar@hotmail.com. You can win a $25 gift card to Stevens Steakhouse located in the City of Commerce, compliments of Carlos Cruz and the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. And also, AGR and Associates, Real Estate Rant, and the Agent Think Tank, or TAT, is sponsoring the first annual comedy night this Saturday at 6 p.m. at the Leche Cafe in Norwalk. Benefits for the American War Mothers. So we're supporting the American War Mothers. Isn't that right, Mr. Richard?
That is most certainly correct, Mr. Alanis.
And who will we be seeing at the comedy night event?
We will be seeing comedians as well as a magician. It's going to be a fun-filled evening. I encourage everybody to come out and support and help out the American War Mothers veterans. Yes.
And we do have a flyer up of the event at the moment. Tickets are 2 for 1 at the moment. They're $20 a piece. That's dinner and a show. Come join us and help out with that particular benefit. The American War Mothers need your help. You can reach Richard at 626-487-3097. That's 626-487-3097 to buy tickets, or you can buy tickets at the door. They're on Firestone Boulevard, 11723 in Norwalk, on the corner of Pioneer and Firestone Boulevard. So give us your support if you can.
It's going to be a lot of fun, too.
Yes. Every week we get emails over at realestaterantradio@gmail.com, and Mr. Alonso usually takes care of that for us, but Miss Lisa will be taking care of that for us. Did we get any emails this week, Miss Lisa?
Yes, we did. And we have an email coming out, and it says, would we be able to get a loan after bankruptcy?
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I would think yes.
Well, the answer is yes, but there's a certain amount of time involved, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I believe it's 24 months. A lot of the lenders have 24 months after the dissolution of the bankruptcy, or is that what it's called, Richard? It's not
discharge.
Discharge. That's what it is. Dissolution is divorce.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
It is a dissolution.
Right on. So you can get a loan after 24 months, but it typically there are other criteria that goes along with the underwriters and what have you, right? So that was a quick and easy answer. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. Win one of those $25 gift cards, or Real Estate Rant will be donating 2 tickets to the comedy night event if you happen to call in, 855-693-4897. And that will be my own personal gift to a caller. 2 tickets, yourself and a guest.
That's terribly sexy.
Yes, it is. And anyway, to move right along, let's start up with a design deal, Mr. Pantalones, if you will. If you call in and get this particular design, you can win a $25 gift card to Steven's Steakhouse. Let me know what you think. This is a multiple choice. What kind of house is this? And believe it or not, this is a house.
Wow.
Yeah.
Not my house.
Yeah, it doesn't look like your house, but
It's right there on the water. It's beautiful. I bet. I wonder what the square footage is on that.
it's probably in the thousands. I'm thinking.
Is
That's
it one
what's-
of your listings?
Yeah. I got that. I got that listing there.
Yeah, and I'd be happy right there in the corner right there on the top there.
What's that?
I'd be happy in the corner, like in the corner right there in the very top right there. Have that view.
Is your name Lady Godiva?
Yes, it is.
All righty. So if you happen to get that particular design, give us a call. Right on. Thank you, Mr. Pantalones. 855-693-4897. You can win one of those $25 gift cards, and or you can get on the show live here on the Rant Radio Network. Miss Lisa, do we have a real estate fun fact today?
Yes, we do.
And what is the real estate fun fact? This is an interesting one, actually.
It is actually interesting. The Swedes and Danes use, what do they heat their homes?
Now, I'm assuming that this is some of the, because there's all kinds of different heating.
Yes.
Okay, so if you happen to know that particular answer, you're welcome to Wikipedia or take a look on Google if you like for that. If you want to cheat
That's
a
what
little
everybody
bit,
does,
yeah.
yes.
Well, that's how we found it, right?
Yeah.
I say it's a hibachi.
Hibachi. Okay, well, not the right answer, but good stab at it. But we'll give you the answer here at the end of the show. 855-693-4897. And that brings us to the guest for the day, Mr. Rick Ronquillo. How are you, sir?
Yay.
Doing fantastic. Thank you.
Mr. Rick, thanks for joining us today. If we can, sir, why don't we just start with just a short introduction about yourself and how you got involved in body language programming?
Okay. Well, many years ago, like other people that were looking for a brighter future, if you will, my parents brought me here to Chicago. And the interesting story is that I found not only culture, language, all of it was a big shock to me. And I realized that communications was the key. I mean, I couldn't be funny with a Colombian or a Brazilian because they wouldn't understand where my humor or where I came from. So,
Well, you said that you guys came here to Chicago. Where are you guys
yes,
from?
I'm from Central America, Guatemala.
Oh, okay, nice.
Nice.
Viva Guatemala.
Nice.
Thank you.
Where are you from, Richard?
The stomach of my mother. What kind of question
Her
is that?
stomach, huh? Okay, well, that's
Yeah,
a different.
better than the knees.
Exactly. So you came from Chicago. Right when you said that, I got this little chill because it's 85 degrees out here today, and we're not even the beginning of January. I mean, out in Chicago, it's probably snowing out there.
It's
I'm
probably
thinking.
85 below zero over there.
Well,
yeah,
exactly.
I bet it was. Yeah, exactly.
That's the first thing I thought of as soon as you said that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Weather's brutal over there.
So you found there was a difference of culture, I guess. It was somewhat of a culture shock coming to Chicago.
Absolutely. Not only that, but the language, even, in my native language, Spanish, there's so many Colombians, South Central Mexicans, and we all have our traditions. So sometimes you would say things that didn't quite go with them. They didn't think it was funny or got the meaning of it. And I thought communications is the way to go. And so I started to study all sorts of communications, neuro-linguistic programming, hypnosis. And what really got me was, I'm talking about in the 90s now, I started noticing people paying attention and really paying good attention to what was going on in terms of creating results for people. And I would teach it. I have taught it to, from presidents of major television stations all the way down to business entrepreneurs that understand the importance of body language, because body language, after all, 93% of what you say has nothing to do with your mouth. So 60 to 80%, the impact that you have on someone negatively or positively is based on how you look. As you can see, I have a suit on. Because if I come in here and I explain this to you and, ripped up t-shirt and shorts, the message is going to be different. So when you look at me, you're already making an assessment about me. If I have facial hair, the way my hair is combed, how I'm dressed. And it takes about 3 seconds, really, 3 to 5 seconds.
Whether or not you showered.
Whether you're showered or if people
Hey.
are gonna believe you or buy anything.
Ain't
from
nobody
you.
got time for that.
And I think too is that you're absolutely right. I think people like judge you within a couple seconds right away.
Well, let's demonstrate. Why don't we all take our shirts off and we'll because I have an undershirt on. Well, you probably don't.
Yes,
But
I
you have an
do.
undershirt on, okay. but that would be a quick demonstration of what you're talking about, right?
Absolutely.
I don't know. No, I'm kidding.
No, we can
I'm more
help.
afraid of that than she is. Jeez, that's scary.
We can't help, but our brain, that's what our brain does. And I've been teaching body language for many, many years now. And people were like, oh, great. That's, awesome. But I don't see why I should use it. And what happened was that once you started showing people with an MRI and the latest technology, your brain begins to change. Literally, as soon as you shift your body, your testosterone can go up or go down. And there's so many other different benefits to it. God, I feel smart with that sound.
You are smart,
Hey, but you're
Rick.
talking. It has a chemical reaction in your body.
Absolutely.
Okay. I see.
Absolutely. Just by shifting and certain different positions, you can either make yourself look like a victim or look like a predator. So you want to be able to pay attention to those things, because if you walk and you look like a victim, you're going to end up being a victim. And if you're a predator knows what to look for. So,
You actually bring up an interesting point here, because I think a lot of people get locked into those modes.
yes.
You get locked into being a predator. You get locked into being a victim.
Yes.
I would say
Absolutely.
that some of the folks in jail are probably locked into the predator mode, and they can't get out of it. I just watched a movie called Bronson. I don't know if you saw it. It was one of the most popular criminals in England,
Okay.
because he was in prison his whole life, and his only crime was just stealing a few things. But the reason why he was in prison for so long is because he got in so many fights, and it wasn't with the inmates, it was with the guards. He was always in predator mode, and that's how I perceived that in the movie. So that's interesting, because we didn't talk about that too much during the outline.
Yeah.
We are coming up on a break, Mr. Rick. Just real quick, so English is not your primary language.
No, it's not.
Okay, because you come off very well as.
Well,
as,
thank you. I appreciate that. I've been
yes,
working
yes.
on it for years on it.
Wow.
Yes, yes. So
Did you
Very,
Did you take lessons from Ricardo Montalban?
you
I
taking
sure
us
did.
out?
Yes, well, we'll be right back, but don't touch that mouse.
Stay tuned. We'll be right back with some more real estate rant.
Are we doing good?
Real Estate Rant and AGR Realtors are proud supporters of Michael Aguilar and Associates, advocates for stroke awareness and integrative healthcare.
In February 2012, I suffered a stroke due to high blood pressure. I was rushed to the hospital where I was admitted for the next 30 days. I was initially told I may have to stay in the hospital for about 3 months, but I made rapid improvements in my recuperation and continued to improve to this day.
When Michael left the hospital, he did not have insurance to cover his rehabilitation, so he focused on integrative healthcare to get better. At the end of 2013, seeing a need for stroke awareness, Michael started his own company, Michael Aguilar and Associates, to focus on creating awareness about the dangers of high blood pressure and stroke.
If you would like more information, please call me at 562-464-7297, or you can visit my website at www.strokeawareness101.com.
Michael Aguilar and Associates, creating awareness and saving lives one person at a time.
Live from the Rant Radio Network
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my title rep, Miss Lisa Lombardi. How are you, young lady?
I'm doing fabulous.
All right. My co-host today, Mr. Alonso, was out sick today. Apparently a little bit too much partying, I think. He called in and he sounded like a horse. So, Mr. Alonso, I hope you feel better, my friend, and we'll see you next week. Give us a call. Yeah, exactly. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. You can win a $25 gift card to Stevens Steakhouse, looking at City of Commerce. Compliments of Carlos Cruz and the Pico Rivera City of Commerce. Real Estate Rant and AJR and Associates are also proud sponsors of the Agent Think Tank, or TAT. TAT is sponsoring its first annual comedy night this Saturday at 6 p.m. at Leche Cafe in Norwalk, benefiting the American War Mothers of the Whittier chapter, and they are a national organization. Tickets are 2 for 1 at the moment. Yeah, exactly. You can give Mr. Richard a call at 66487-3097. You can also email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. That's realestaterantradio@gmail.com. If you have a gripe, a complaint about an agent, or you have a interesting story about real estate, we'd love to hear it. Lisa will be glad to read it here on the air.
Absolutely.
Yes. So with that, we are continuing on with Mr. Rick Ronquillo, and if we could throw some of his stuff up on the web banner there, if you wouldn't mind, sir. I believe you did get my email. There we go. You can reach Mr. Rick at 818-219-6969, or you can email him at coachingwithrick@gmail.com. He also has a very nice website. I was able to review that website a few nights ago. A very nice website. www.rickronquillo.com. That's RICKRONQUILLO.com. And
I like that picture, Rick. I like
you.
that.
yes. So there was a lot of web banners that we put up there for Rick, and a lot of the things that we'll be talking about today, and also a way to contact Rick. Rick does seminars and trainings with real estate agents and other companies, and he would be happy to benefit any of those trainings or interview them as speakers, right? Also, Rick does have a CD set or DVD set, right? It's a DVD set.
Correct.
On sale on the website as well. You can go onto that particular website, rickronquillo.com, and you can get onto there to purchase that. You can add that to your cart, and good listening pleasure, as well as some learning facts that you can learn on that particular subject matter. So take a look at that if you can. If you can throw up the design deal, my friend, one last time. There is the design deal. What kind of house is this? It's funny, but when you see it, you think, wow, it's kind of obvious, but you look at the other two answers and it's like, wow, this could be one of the other two. So this is kind of interesting. This is kind of a play with words. What do you think, Lisa?
Well, do you want? I don't know. If
No,
I
no,
should
don't
guess.
say it out loud.
I know which one I.
Do you know which one it is?
Yeah.
Because you're looking at.
I'm usually pretty good at this. I usually
Well,
guess
I don't know.
right.
I don't know if you remember. Somebody had called in and they gave us the 2 wrong answers out of 3, right? And he still wanted the gift card. And I'm
I
like,
like that.
yeah. So like, oh well, maybe I'll buy you a Subway sandwich, right? But anyway, give us a call 855-693-4897. So back to Rick, our esteemed guest of the show today. So we did comment about whether or not English was your primary language.
Correct.
And a bit surprised because English comes off very, very well with you.
Well, thank
Is
you.
that something practice, or you just watch a lot of TV?
A little bit of both.
Okay, right
Yeah.
on.
I have my girlfriend corrects me all the time, so I'll give her credit for that.
Yeah, and you don't really have an accent at all as well either. It's
Later on in the day, after
a little bit there. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but very.
Thank
very
you. I
good.
appreciate that.
And my question is like how you were talking about earlier, like how you said that that you kind of were inspired by because you couldn't really communicate with other people. I mean, even though they spoke Spanish.
Right.
I mean, what was one of the first, like, did you go to a seminar? Did you
Absolutely.
read a book or?
Both.
Yeah.
I found a guy that was amazing at what he did. And we spoke about this person earlier on. And I thought, if this guy can get on stage and do what he does so amazingly, so I got to be able to do the same thing. Well, to my surprise, it wasn't that easy. And of course, you're looking at a world-class master, and here you want to, recreate what he does immediately. Took a few years of practicing and doing a lot of research, watching a lot of great speakers, learning from them. And that's what really led on to what I do now.
So did you always know that you wanted to do this or?
Well, yes, I knew that communications was something that I loved because it's key to be able to get your point across, to sales, become better at whatever job it is that you do or whatever it is that you do.
Communicating with your family.
Absolutely,
and friends, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
This is not limited to business. This
Yeah.
is as well as personal. So and teach your kids, teach them, what body language you should have so that other kids don't mess with you. Body language speaks 10 times more than whatever your voice can say. So if you project yourself in a very large, powerful way, you're definitely sending a clear message that you have power, that you have confidence about yourself. And at the end of the day, that's what people want to buy. That's what people buy. People buy a sense of trust in you, or they won't buy because either they don't like you or they don't trust you. And so body language to me is find out what it is, because communication has one purpose and one purpose only: to communicate a message. You have something inside of you, say it the most powerful way you can. And that's where body language comes in. Yeah.
And you mentioned teaching your kids, and I thought that was a bit interesting because you actually are teaching them at a certain level different things. And the first thing that came to mind was hygiene, because for kids, it's unimportant. They don't think about taking showers, brushing their teeth.
Neither do I, but that's
you know what I
okay.
mean? Washing
I'm
their
just
clothes.
kidding, yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but,
well, what I'm saying is that that's something that we learn as young folks, right? As little people, and then as we grow up, that's like you're right now talking about the next level of communication.
Yes.
Right. And that's the first thing that came to mind when you said that. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, it's at the unconscious level. At the end of the, any presentation or anything, you're either buying because you feel good and you have that confidence in that person, or you don't. That's the bottom line. So if you look at live, like political campaigns or interviews, when they have the presidential interviews and all that stuff, you see that there's a computer right next to you now, because there's technology that can tell you how effective you're being or not. So you can lie. Neuromarketing. They sit somebody in the car and they say whether they say they like it or not is irrelevant. They're looking at the sensors that they attach to your head, so that they can see how your brain processes information and what you're going to say unconsciously. So they know now that if they put you in front of a car and the dashboard, they look at the sensors, like I said before, and now they'll see if you like it or not. Don't matter what you say, because the unconscious mind is really what's buying, not your logic.
It's so true.
Right on. So
Yeah.
you mentioned now that you there was a speaker that inspired you. Who was that?
Yes.
Or did you already say?
No, I didn't say it.
Okay,
Can I
okay.
say it?
Yeah.
His
It's,
name-
it's up to you.
He was a hero friend of mine, and before Tony, his name is Gary Graff. He's actually a priest in Chicago.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
And
okay.
the guy was amazing. The guy, I mean, he can walk down the street and it'll take him half hour, because he would greet everybody, and it was just like this guy would talk to a 7-year-old as he would to a 82-year-old, making them feel extremely comfortable. He was very known.
So
around
this is
the
a
community.
Chicago thing, huh,
Yep.
Richard? What do you think, Richard? Is
Well,
Chicago-
I think you must have talked to a lot of cholos because
There's no cholos in Chicago.
oh, there is. You just
Well,
don't
they're all-
know
they're
where
all
we're at.
covered up.
Yeah, they're all covered up. No, I'm saying because
They're undercover.
Yeah, exactly.
in the streets, that's the perception that you have to come across. It's not weak, and you have to show that you're tough. and nobody's
Absolutely,
gonna make- so that's
absolutely.
why-
I would say that's a big part of my training, if you will, because yeah, when you see danger coming and you see a certain posture, arms out,
Right.
they're doing the gorilla, the monkey thing, and you see that
Or
because if you
crossing
look,
their arms,
crossing their arms,
throwing up signs.
No.
most definitely,
Not throwing up signs.
No.
Yeah,
but
they throw signs.
that's kind of
Yeah,
like
but that's not a form of intimidation. Intimidation is just the look, like you say, the stare into their face, the way they stand, how they say it. All that is what your
tone of voice,
tone of voice.
your tone of your
Yeah.
voice
so that's
is very
kind of the
powerful.
predatory thing that we were talking about earlier. Is that they are in a predator mode.
Yeah, and
right?
they're very much aware of their surroundings. They're always on the clock, as they
Absolutely.
say, on the street. They're always aware of their surroundings, who's around. They're always looking.
I'm glad you brought that up, because the way I start my presentations is I hit the bang for the buck immediately, meaning that I show a video of a detective showing how a police officer got killed because he wasn't able to read all the body language signals that the predator or the guy that had the gun did in that moment. So he specifically tells you body language is far more important than either gun training or martial arts, because you can have that training, but if you don't read the signals, you're going to run into death.
Yeah.
No,
Well,
absolutely.
I always understood that the police training was a little more aggressive in terms of just taking control of the situation. Is they almost even overlook the body language because they don't care about that. Just take control of the situation.
Not anymore. Body language is absolutely critical.
Yeah, especially
Their
now,
life depends on it.
especially now
Yeah.
when you see all of the protests that are going against the police officers for just simply defending their position, and they're being accused of now shooting folks that maybe shouldn't have been shot.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think that has
Or
a lot
people
to
that
do
get
with it.
arrested, or you look at all these kids that are like, why is it that they're always looking at me, or why are they picking on me? Well, first of all, you're being stereotyped. And people say, why is that so bad? Well, if you go back and think about stereotyping, they use it in the movies. If you see the villain, what are you going to see? A guy dressed in black, big
Yeah.
mustache, hat. If you see the banker, what are you
Butch.
going to see? You know, a guy well
Cassidy.
dressed, bald headed, the accountant, the one with the visor. So they give those stereotypes. Otherwise, imagine how hard or difficult it will be to follow a movie. So there's nothing wrong with stereotyping. Just understand that how you're dressed is how people will treat you. I'm always in a suit when I'm out in public because I always want to be treated with more respect. And obviously that does happen. And even when you get pulled over, you know, when you get pulled over, based on how you're dressed and the way you answer to the officer, it's going to be you're either going to end up in jail or they're going to say, have a good day.
Yeah,
So,
just to
so,
impress.
so let that be a lesson to you, Lisa.
Yeah, stop dressing up, Lisa.
I know, absolutely.
But you know, going back to what you said earlier about
Yeah.
a lot of the convicts are in jail, that they're predators. A lot of times, most of us don't know what we are. We may
Oh,
be acting
yeah.
a certain way, but we
Absolutely.
don't know unless someone like yourself comes out and points it out to them.
You know, I'm glad you have this guy over here. He's got all the right points. Being able to dress properly, we're creatures of we belong to either a gang or an association or a tribe. So
Society.
we're always recognized for something.
We are coming up on a break, sir.
We're coming up on a break, so don't touch that mouse, and we'll be right
Stay
back.
tuned. We'll be right back with some more real estate rant.
It's one thing to own a business, it's another to promote it. That's why thousands of business owners rely on Monster Marketing Group. Design, print, mail, custom mailers, all for as little as 29 cents delivered. That includes postage. Send to a neighborhood, zip code, or an entire city. With just a simple call, 888-49-MONSTER, you can easily promote your business, sales, events, grand openings, send coupons, and much more.
Your mail delivers in as little as 5 days. No dealing with the mailing list or paperwork. Monster Marketing does all the heavy lifting. Get started now by calling 888-49-MONSTER or go to monsterng.com.
Monster Marketing Group. We deliver, we give you results, we can prove it.
Hello, this is Steve.
Hey Steve, it's Angela. Just wanted to see if you want to go out to lunch today.
I can't right now. I'm trying to find a company to build my website. The guy I was working with vanished and he won't return my calls.
Hey, you should call Infuse. They've helped our company with our website and it came out great. They've been around for almost about 20 years. They have great service and they're very knowledgeable.
I don't have a big budget though. You think they can still help?
Sure, I saw their portfolio. They work on all types of projects.
Is this one of those overseas companies that only communicates through emails? I want to see someone face to face to show them what I want.
Not at all. They're just down the street from you. Give them a call at 562-450-4512.
What's that number again?
562-450-4512. You can visit them at their website at infuse.com.
It's hot out here. I need a drink. Have a mucho macho michelada. What's a michelada? Michelada is a Mexican Bloody Mary made with beer. All you have to do is get bucket-sized michelada, open it up, pour it in your favorite beer, and you're good.
What if you don't like beer?
You can use it in lemon lime soda, vodka with lime, or tequila with lemon lime soda.
Sounds delicious. Where do you find it?
You can find it at your favorite store, or you can go to muchomachomichelada.com.
Find us on Twitter and Facebook.
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat. And we are back here at the Real Estate Rant, here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis, and to my left here, my co-host, Miss Lisa Lombardi. How are you, young lady?
I'm doing great.
All righty then.
Alex.
Give us a call, 855-693-4897. You can reach Mr. Rich Ronquillo. Did I say Rich? I did say Rich, didn't I?
Which is fine.
Ronquillo, please.
He is
I
rich.
I will get it right at some point. Our esteemed guest here on Body Language Programming, you can reach him at 818-219-6969. And if you happen to be listening to the audio version, you can always log on YouTube, as this particular show will be burned into eternity on YouTube. You know, after we're dead, this will still be playing.
That's
That's comforting.
yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So, yeah, isn't it? Right?
Yeah.
Even though that could be next week, but
Like-
yeah, exactly.
Don't say that.
Yeah.
This is Rant Radio.
Yeah, exactly. We can say whatever we like.
Yeah.
You can win a $25 gift card to Steven's Steakhouse, looking at City of Commerce, compliments of Carlos Cruz and the Pico Rivera Chamber of Commerce. We are also having a event at Leche Cafe in Norwalk, benefit for the American War Mothers. It's a comedy night event. Real Estate Rant and AGR and Associates are proud sponsors of that event, or otherwise known as TAT. You can join us for $20, dinner and a show. Bring a loved one, bring a family member, bring your date.
Bring your probation officer.
There you go. And to the benefit.
Just come and have a great time.
Well, exactly.
Yeah,
We're going to have a
exactly.
good time. There will be alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Come
Well,
let your
alcohol always makes people have a little
Yes,
fun.
Yes.
come let your hair down.
The flyer is up on the screen there. Thank you, Mr. Pantalones, for showing that. And it is a 2-for-1 price at the moment. You can get 2 tickets for $40, and that's not bad for dinner and a show.
Not at
No,
all.
that's great. I just actually went to see some comedy last week, and that's a very good price.
And I'm going to lock Lisa in now. Lisa, are you good for a table of 8?
I don't know about a table of 8.
Come on.
Oh my gosh!
here
But
we
you know what?
go.
My whole family's coming, so I think that they're probably going to be wanting to come.
It'd be like 6 people.
Well, I don't know. I got a big family, so
Okay, well.
you know.
Well, if they were midgets, it'd be a table of 12. You can fit more people on a table.
Right on, right on. Or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. Give us a call, 855-693-4897. And you can win one of those gift cards, Mr. Pantalones. If you can, throw up the design deal one more time. And if you get this particular design, you can win one of those gift cards. Miss Lisa, what was the fun fact that we had for...
you want to know what it is?
No, not the answer.
Oh,
Well,
gosh.
let's
I
just
wanna give the
let's just
answer,
throw it out there
so-
one more time.
I really want to give the answer, but I won't yet. Okay. It says here the Swedes and Danes use what to heat their homes?
This is kind of scary, man.
I would say a crepe.
a crepe.
A crepe or a Danish.
Well, it's not Danish. Well, I guess they would be called Danish, right? The
Yeah.
Danes. They're
Or
from,
maybe they're
is
wooden
that-
shoes. They rip them together.
That the area, I
Ah.
believe that's Denmark, isn't it? Denmark.
Denmark.
Yeah.
Did I get that right?
I was thinking of
Is
Amsterdam.
that Denmark?
I have no idea.
The Danes are from Denmark.
Oh,
no?
yes.
Okay,
Yes, yes.
I'm guessing. I mean, my European history's somewhat back a little bit.
I'd have to ask my dog.
Well, we need
that's from
someone. We need
Dane.
someone to call in to get this fun fact.
Right on. So give us a call, 855-693-4897. You can get that particular design or the fun fact for the week and win a $25 gift card. Also, The Agent Think Tank as well as Real Estate Rant are offering 2 tickets for the Comedy Night Show this Saturday, January 10th at the Leche Cafe in Norwalk. So give us a call.
Encourage everybody to come out to that evening and support the veterans. It's a
Right
great
on.
cause.
Right on. So back to Mr. Rick Ronquillo, Body Language Programmer. Rick has been sharing with us a lot of the facts that go along with, for lack of a better word, Rick, I mean, aren't we just being prejudiced?
In a way, we are. That's how our brain operates. Like I said before, it takes 3 seconds. You look at me and you will know exactly from every movie, every book, every experience that you have had with someone like me. And boom, you have yourself a nice definition of judgment, if you will, about me. And it's all unconscious. You guys are looking at me and you getting something, a positive or a negative feeling. So I try to do my best to look as clean and as elegant so that I can give you a positive image about me.
So, like, I guess as a little girl, we've been programmed like watching Cinderella that we're gonna find our prince.
Prince Charming?
Yes, our Prince Charming.
Or whatever his name
Yeah.
White knight in shining
Yeah.
armor.
White knight
Prince, fill in the blank.
But am I right, Rick? I mean, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, I think marketers know how we're programmed.
Absolutely.
In order for us to buy things or how we need to think. Like for the movies about love, like we have this I don't know, I think that we think that love should be a certain way when we watch movies or sitcoms or whatever it might be.
Have you seen the Twilight series?
Yes, I have.
That's what a ball of drama that is, but that's all love, man.
But
That's
my
all
question,
love.
but my question is, I mean, now that we're getting into this, I mean, men and women, are we definitely different when it comes to body language? I mean, how are we when we
Absolutely.
communicate?
We are so different. We are completely the opposite as to how we communicate with one another. That's why there's so many divorces. Because a woman will touch another woman and it just means you're connecting. Highly unlikely for another man, especially if they're meeting for the first or second time, to even, other than the handshake and an eye contact, you're never going to see those two people, those two men at 8 inches away from one another touching each other. Highly unlikely unless you're another part of the city.
Let's give it a try. I don't know.
Or am I right?
I can't
too?
do
Like,
it.
I mean, but
I can't do it.
But not only that, but other cultures are that way. Like in Europe, they're very touchy feely. You know,
Yes.
like I mean,
Oh, that's true.
you know, I mean, in Europe, I mean, it's very common, and like I know that when I went to Europe, it's very like kissing on the cheek, like mwah mwah. You know, it's very touchy feely.
Absolutely.
You know, and even for men, I saw that in women. It's a very different kind of culture.
Absolutely.
Am I right?
Latinos, we're very warm. I run into people going, I talk about not invading somebody's space and how
they're
important
they're
space
huggers.
is. Yeah, we move in and we just love to hug. But if you do that in a business content or in a professional setting, it can be frowned upon because
Right.
distance. There is rules for distances, and like I said, women and men are completely different.
So
So
what do you mean?
we're creating these prejudices now in our heads. But let me ask you, how right are we when we make these judgment calls?
Like I said, 93% of what we say has nothing to do with our mouth. So be aware of what comes out of your mouth and be present as to how you're using your body. And, there's power poses that you see like Oprah, Obama, Bill Clinton, name it. Whoever it is that is very powerful, they have a set of movements and it creates a pattern of you being, like we talked about, very powerful, charismatic, people that feel like we talked about connection and how people
Right.
can immediately connect with you and feel like they've known you for years and they treat you like a best friend or not. And it all depends upon what they're viewing. So are we being judgmental? Absolutely. Well, here's how we can shift that. Body language has to do with culture. Facial expressions are universal. So we can read 7 different emotions on a human being even before they themselves are conscious of it, because the movement will come to your face, then it goes into your head and you make logic of it. So if you don't like someone and you
Felt like that. or-
Exactly.
right,
So
yeah.
it's almost a reflex.
exactly, it's a
Okay.
reflex.
It's kind of
to-
a learned thing. You learn it over
Yes.
time. I
But
see.
a child has that instilled in him as at a very
Absolutely,
young age.
like I said, that is universal. It's across every human being and monkeys. Monkeys and gorillas do have the same posture, and we all fight for space. So those are two of the things that you would see in powerful people, like presidents. They create a huge space, like they say, "Oh, he walked into the room and everybody turned around." Yeah, but there's tricks to that as well. He had 3 people in front of him, 2 on the side, 3 in the back. So they're creating a lot of space, and they're doing what? Serving the gentleman in the middle. That's why.
Well, I'm sure those powerful people as well too. They probably have someone like yourself that
Yes,
talks
they
to them
do have
about body
coaches.
languages.
Yes.
How to present themselves.
How to correct themselves.
Absolutely.
You know, the first person that comes to mind here is Elvis.
Okay.
Because man, he walks
Oh.
in the room and
He had
he just takes
charisma.
over. Yeah,
Yes.
he just
Charisma.
takes over.
Charisma.
But I'm thinking about now. I'm thinking of that subconsciously. Now, how is it affecting me when I see Elvis, even on the TV? But what I'm talking about now that you're mentioning it, is the posture that he had and the stance that he had. That's what really was that was the delivery mechanism.
Absolutely.
But I think it was very
Is that how I'm reading that?
But it was his stance was very simplistic. I don't think he meant to stand the way he did or anything like that. I think it's just in his mind how it's all perception.
Dude, come on, what about John Travolta's another one that comes to mind with the
Yeah, but it's
Saturday Night Fever?
Yeah,
and
but
he
it's
takes
it's,
that-
it's
he takes that
entertainment.
stance, you
It's
know what I mean?
entertainment. I
Yeah.
mean, who knows how he is
I
like
just
when
do
with
that
his
right now?
friends and family, and because there's some entertainers that they're great entertainers,
Yes.
but when it comes to one-on-one, they're not very good at all.
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, I played blackjack with Paul Rodriguez one time.
No, he's
And you're absolutely right about that. When he's on stage, he's funny, but wow,
Yeah.
sitting next to him, I want to get away from him.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because there's some people, like I noticed too, that sometimes people will say, "Oh God, that person is conceited. They didn't even want to talk to me." And reality is, it's not that they're conceited or they don't want to talk to you. Is that they're more shy. They're not as open as some of us that we have certain personalities.
Correct. And it could also be your interpretation of what's going on.
Absolutely.
And when you understand how to read body language, you would know because your body leaks. If you're uncomfortable or if you're insecure or if you're angry, your body's going to give you signals that leak.
What about this one? How about this one, Lisa? when you happen to be sitting with women or both men and women on a table and they're playing with their hair.
Yes.
You ever see that? What's that about?
That means that they like
What
the
is that?
person.
What is-
You know what? I think it's just out of maybe anxiety.
No.
I don't know.
What is that?
It means that they're interested in another person. They like that. other
Maybe
person.
I'm
okay,
bored.
okay.
Am I
Right?
bored, Rick?
I don't know.
Look, this is
Let
how,
Rick answer that one.
This is how you are able to notice. If a
Yeah.
woman, yes, one of them is messing or playing with her hair.
Like
but
fidgety,
if they
you
show
know?
you the inside of their palm or their wrist, anything that has to do with being vulnerable, when somebody shows you, like if you notice somebody that crosses their arms, 40% of what that person says is already perceived negative because you're closed. And what are you closing?
Yeah, it's kinda
Your
combative,
heart.
right?
It's defensive.
Yes, your heart is right
Right.
here. So what you're doing is you're
protecting
hiding your emotions. Now, that can also mean that somebody's cold. So you got to be aware as the content changes of the context. So depending upon where the person is, if I'm sitting here and you're asking me questions or he starts speaking and I start, crossing my arms, throwing my neck back, looking through
Stay
my
tuned. We'll be
nose.
right
Okay,
back
we
with some more
gotta
real
we gotta
estate
take a
rant.
break. So don't touch that mouse.
Looking for a delicious, fresh family meal that's ready when you are and easy on your budget? Welcome to Piara Pizza. We make our pizza.
Looking for some swag? Make sure to check out monsterclothing.com. They got everything from V-necks, t-shirts, hoodies, baby dolls, and remember, custom orders are always welcome, and much more. They're just not on the site yet. www.monsterclothingco.com or call them at 888-49-MONSTER. 888-49-MONSTER. Hablamos español. Doo-doo-doo!
Live from the Rant Radio Network,
You're listening to Real Estate Rant with your host, Alex Alanis.
and your co-host, Mr. Alonso Rodriguez.
No problems, just solutions for real estate needs, hot topics, and controversial chat.
We are back here at the Real Estate right here at the towers of the Rant Radio Network. I'm your host, Mr. Alex Alanis. And to my left here, my co-host, Miss Lisa Lombardi. How are you, young lady?
I'm doing great.
Yes. Give us a call, 855-693-4897, or you can email us at realestaterantradio@gmail.com. I won't go through the schmeal again about the $25 gift card, but if you do happen to call in and get this particular design, Mr. Pantalones, if you will, throw up the design one last time. What kind of property is this? What kind of house is this? Mr. Pantalones?
It's a good house to rob.
And the winner is?
I say A.
It is a castle, ladies and gentlemen. That is a castle. Believe it or not, there is such a thing. When I first saw this, I go, "Wow, this really could be a Queenslander." But when I looked at a Queenslander, it's totally off.
It's a castle.
Well, but how can you tell that? The only castle that I know of.
The gate in the front is
Okay,
made out of wood.
But what defines a castle?
The
honestly,
points and the walls.
Okay, the only castle that I know of is at Disneyland. Honestly, come on.
Can I guess?
That's a
Well,
home.
there's the answer. You can guess all you want if you like.
You can guess the right one.
You know what? I
Just
gotta
to look
be
at the
honest
red
with you.
answer,
To be
whatever you
honest
do.
with you, my first instinct was the castle, but I thought, oh, that's
Yeah.
too easy. So I thought it was A.
Well, see, that's what I meant earlier, but it was a play with words.
Yeah.
Right. That's the reason why I chose those other ones, because Queenslander is totally different than a castle, but the Fox Chateau, it really is totally
Because it
different as
definitely
well.
looks like a castle.
Maybe there's a Fax Chateau in the castle.
Yeah, that could be.
Yes.
That could be. So
That
now
kind of
that
goes along with what Rick here is saying. Is that I think we're tainted. Our society is tainted on how we come off and what we say. And as a child, I was saying earlier that we're instilled with that, well, how we can tell if our parents are sad or not. But do you think that as we grow older, we lose that?
No, the body language is ingrained like anything else, like the way you speak and your rhythm. I'll do an exercise right now. Cross your arms the way you normally would. I would cross my arms like this. It will be the left over the right. Now do the opposite. Just cross your arms, just the opposite the way you normally would. How awkward is
yeah,
that?
it feels a little awkward. Yeah, it does.
So what you're doing is something that you normally don't. So what I do is part of it is I analyze what it is that people are doing with their body and their voice, how they're communicating, and what are some of the things that are either you're too aggressive or somebody that is a victim that, they kind of grab their hands and they white knuckle, and any of those things, it's an indicator of showing you there's something not right with that person. Think of it like this. Think of a guy that fidgets a lot, or is grabbing his hands and is doing this, and is looking at you, and it doesn't take his eyes off of you. What are you thinking? It's a creep,
I'm
right?
thinking, I'm not
I'm thinking
going
he's
out with
tweaking.
him.
Exactly. There you go.
Well, God,
Crystal meth.
I need this advice because in the dating world, I need
Yes.
to know.
Yeah,
Very much
Lisa
so.
gets a lot of that.
Yeah,
huh?
so I need to know how to pick my men out there.
Oh,
The
Hey,
winners.
Lisa, you need to learn how to go like this every once in a while. I'll tell you.
No,
You gotta kick 'em straight to the curb,
Rick,
you know?
my question is here too because us being in the real estate industry, me as a title rep, I'm going to different offices and talking to people as
Yes.
well too, and I really feel like I can feel people. I know when they're busy.
Mm-hmm.
I know when they don't really have time to talk to me.
Yes.
And then I know there's times that they want to engage, and I'm sure there's times that I probably don't read people
Right.
as well too.
Yeah.
But is it that with the body language, is like a feeling of like in your stomach? Too?
Yes, very much of a gut feeling. We women understand this way better than men do, and it's just a gut feeling. And your nervous system is the king of keeping you. You don't think about digestion. You don't think about healing yourself. You don't think about how many times I blink. So all of those things are done unconsciously. So when you look at me for the first 3 seconds, that same system is the one that is making an assessment about me. And that's going to tell you, trust me, we'll do business, or don't trust me and you won't do business with me. So yeah, everything's unconsciously. Your brain is an incredible mechanism that, just by moving your body, you are able to change it. So hundreds and hundreds of years of psychology are being debunked now, because all you need to do is understand how to move your body in a certain way. It changes your testosterone. It increases your testosterone, and it drops a hormone that is called cortisol. That is the one that men develop a stomach because it creates a lot of stress. So it does a lot of different things for you, not only the way you feel within 3 minutes or less. You don't have to go to a psychiatrist. You don't have to go through all of these things. Of course, if you had a trauma or something of that
Right.
nature that is a little bit deeper, yes. But when it comes to just making yourself more presentable, more powerful, it only takes 3 minutes. And we show you exactly what it is that you need to do on a regular basis for you to become more powerful. Your smile is another one. Unconsciously, I have the power with my smile that if I smile at you and I have a sincere smile, how do you tell the difference between a sincere smile and not? Is the crinkles that you see on your eyes are the ones that really are smiling sincerely. So if somebody smiles, just with their mouth, they actually
Constipation.
don't like
Kind
you.
of like that. Well, you almost know that I was
Yeah.
faking that.
No, it looks
You know
like
what I
you're
mean?
constipated.
Well, exactly.
And you know how too is
You see
sometimes
what kind of
it's-
signals it can
I
send?
know.
Yeah, well,
mixed.
exactly.
Well, sometimes it's hard to read people. Like sometimes I go, God, I really can't read that person.
Well, you know
how
what?
cer-
If you have the tools, it's like anything else. If you know the combination to a lock, 1,000 people go before you. You know exactly what the combination is, and you're able to open that lock. For other people, it might look like a magic trick. For you, it's just remembering the numbers or having the key. That simple. So
Now, can we make the connection here, Rick? Now between, because this is a real estate show.
absolutely.
I think a lot of the real estate agents that are listening, they want to make the connection now as to, I guess the real question is this: how should we behave as real estate agents now with clients?
Personal growth and understanding human nature goes hand in hand. You can know everything about real estate, but if you're communicating it in a very poor way, you're not going to get any sales. You might get somebody upset, or if you're too aggressive. So the combination is obviously have an incredible amount of charisma, smiling. The other thing about body language is that it's not limited to your body. You're able to tell if you go to an attorney's office, you're able to tell they have a high power chair, a very large desk. And normally the chair that you're sitting on, the client, it's a smaller chair, lower. And all of those things play a key factor in the power game. So there's a lot of other things. I walk in and I know I'm a detective of information, if you will. I walk into somebody's office or their home and I immediately look at if you have pictures of your kids. Well, guess what? Those things are important. Or if you have a picture of going to Europe. Well, those things mean a lot to you because emotionally you're tied up to it. So when you start speaking about those things, you're going to notice a different disposition about that person immediately. If you want to create rapport, oh wow, you have 3 kids, well great, I have 2, how old are they? And boom, there you go. Now you're parents, now you're creating that rapport. And 55% of your communication is about creating rapport. Most people go into selling right away without getting to know what's important to that person. So they're selling for their values, not yours. And that's a huge mistake. So 55% of your communication is creating that connection with that person, especially with women, right? No. So it has a lot to do with everything that is around you. Smell, you don't think smell affects your body language? You can bank on it.
Oh,
if you
baked
smell
cookies.
bad, yeah, if you smell baked cookies, like some people do that.
I'll tell you, I tell all my listeners, yeah, people, you're gonna have a showing at the property, put cookies in the oven. And man, I'll tell you what, it doesn't matter if the house is all tore up. They're gonna
Yes.
Are you talking about literally?
literally baked
Cookies in the oven?
Yeah.
Baked cookies, yes.
Wow.
Smell is one of the ways.
The
Yeah.
smell covers up everything else that could possibly be there. Well, most of it.
It takes over your brain.
It really does.
Wow.
It really
Yeah.
does.
Do you think people's perception of like beauty too? I mean, I know the beauty.
Absolutely.
I mean, like how people. Look
I actually
at
hate
you.
to cut you off. We're running short of time, Lisa. I apologize. Thank you,
Great.
Rick. Thank you, Rick, for joining us here.
Absolutely.
Yeah, here I just wanted to bring the real estate fun fact, but I don't think we'll have time. But I think the answer was dead bodies. Was that the crematoriums?
That was the answer.
Yes, yes. So join us again next week here, same time, same place, here at the Real Estate Rant in the towers of the Rant Radio Network. Thank you again, Mr. Rick Ronquillo, for joining us.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
You can reach
Thank
Rick
you.
at
Thank you,
his
Rick.
website. Mr. Richard and Lisa, thank you again, once again, for joining us, same time, same place next week.
Thank you.
Thanks for tuning in to Real Estate Rant Radio
Make sure to join us every Wednesday at 10 a.m.
on the Rant Radio Network, where we talk about solutions to your real estate problems. The views and opinions expressed by the host or any guest on this show are encouraged to be followed up by a professional tax advisor or attorney, as we are not qualified or authorized to give advice in 2 areas: legal matters and tax matters.